Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on a Thursday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go up to our friends up in Brisbane who unfortunately currently in lockdown at the moment, but hopefully by tomorrow they'll be out of lockdown and hopefully prepare some sort of preparation heading towards this weekend's QAFLW Development Grand Final, of course, between Coorparoo, the reigning champions, and UQ this weekend at, of course, in Yeronga. Of course, we've got four very special guests from the Coorparoo team to tell us a bit about it. Thanks all four of you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Well, I'll get each of you to introduce yourselves and what position all four of you play on the field, hopefully on Grand Final day if it goes ahead this weekend.
I'm Ellie. I'm half forward.
I'm Ella and I play ruck.
I'm Kelsey and I'll be playing in the forward line.
I'm Georgia and I play either wing or in the back line, depending on the team we have on the week.
Of course, luckily for your team, you had a week off last weekend, of course, advancing straight through to the grand final on the win in the second semi-final. How's the preparations been like to the grand final minus this week?
I think it was really helpful. We did have a few injuries. So we had a few people sit out 2 weeks to go, myself included. So it's always an advantage to have the week off before the grand final to prepare. But I think definitely for our team, we were holding a few injuries. So it was helpful to have that time off.
Lockdown this week, which obviously pretty inconvenient time to that for happen, leading up to a grand final. But how has the team adjusted to, trying to do as much as you can at home to hopefully prepare for a grand final if it goes ahead this Sunday?
I think we had training on Tuesday afternoon just before we went into lockdown, and if we come out tomorrow, which is Friday, we'll have training on Friday evening. So still getting those 2 sessions in before the Sunday game anyway. You kind of just make it work, and at the end of the day, the other team bond, they're in the same position. They're under the same lockdown as we are. So you just kind of have to make it work as best as you can. And everyone's super keen to still get the grand final in on Sunday for sure. If we get postponed, then, we start preparations again. But I think everyone will be really excited if we can get in tomorrow night and have a proper session.
And has the team been doing any sort of some sort of training or some sort of preparation going to the grand final during this lockdown? Other than after your Tuesday training?
I think it's everyone's kind of been their personal take on it all. We all have our own things that we do outside of it. Obviously, we all have our own fitness and our own rehab and that sort of thing. I personally do CrossFit, so that's what continues as normal for me to keep my fitness up. We don't have a set routine in place, but I think everyone's pretty eager to keep touches on the balls and that sort of thing. So I think at home, we're all kind of doing our own work separately.
I think as well, like we were talking about the week off, we've already been focusing on the grand final for a week before this lockdown even happened. So we've been talking about it, we've gone through what we want to do to prepare. And we had that week already looking forward to a grand final. So nothing changes this week. Hopefully we still get 2 training sessions in a game. So it's not too different.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to have a dad as a coach, so I get to have all that extra stuff and work with him so he can help me with my rucking and everything. So I think everyone just has their personal stuff that they can improve on and, for the grand final on the weekend, which is good to do by ourselves.
Question about, the team was carrying some injuries. I think Georgia might have actually mentioned it in the first question I asked. Are you hoping to get all of them back? And Georgia, in particular, are you hoping to be back for the grand final on Sunday if it goes ahead?
Yes, I'll definitely be playing if it goes ahead. I fixed up an ankle injury. It's only a couple of weeks, so it's been good to have a bit of time off.
Yeah, I think I was carrying a back injury and I'm definitely good to go. I think Kelsey was carrying a shoulder injury, and even though she played, I think she definitely appreciated the week off. Hey, Kels?
Yeah, definitely. The extra week just really helps us to relax our bodies and get ready for the grand final, because we know that bond is going to come out us with everything they got.
I'm not carrying an injury, so
I think we are still missing a couple of people. We had
Yeah.
Jacinta, our ruck, who did do an ACL earlier in the year. Taya as well, who was stepping in as a second ruck to Ella, who's done an ankle, who won't be able to play. But for the most part, I mean, we've had so many people play throughout the year that it won't be an issue.
Mm-hmm. I think from what our coach said, we haven't fielded the same team twice this whole year. So we're kind of used to having people come in and out, and you've got the same core group, and you've obviously got the same coaches, and we all train together all year round anyway. So whoever's on the park on the day doesn't really change the team dynamics that we have anyway.
Being the defending champions at the moment, and obviously the team has handled it pretty well this season, and obviously make it through to another grand final to hopefully make it back-to-back in 2021. Now, obviously, this year's grand final is played back in Brisbane at Yeronga instead of last year at Bond Uni, I think it was last year in Rabina. I guess how good is it to play the grand final a bit closer to home this time around?
Yeah, it's really good to, you know, have the chance to be playing at home, don't have to trek too far, and, you know, less travel for us, I guess.
I think it's a more of an advantage for us because like Bond have to have the big drives from Rabina, which we had to do last year. So I know some of our players aren't the best travellers, like with having to sit in a long car ride, but I think it'll definitely be an advantage for us of the day.
A bit about your coaches there in the development team that's got this team to where you are now.
Yeah, I think we have such a great coaching group with Beck and Abby. Like they just work so well together. They really work off each other. Like they're both on the same page. They both know what needs to be done, and it's good having Abby, who used to play with us last year, so she knows all of us girls, so she knows how to communicate with us. She knows how we all play and like how to get the best out of each of us to put in the team so we can hopefully go back to back.
I think we have such a wide range of like in any team, personalities, but also ages as well. You know, we've got some 17s girls playing in the team, and we've got some 30+ girls playing in the team as well. And I think the way that Beck and Abby communicate with us, like Kel said, each person requires their own different level of care, and I think every one of us feels so supported every step of the way. And I think it's been one of the reasons why throughout the season we've just gone from strength to strength as a team, and in our results I think that shows. So we're really lucky with the coaching group that we have.
I think it's a big reason as well why we've been able to be so consistent. It's just the systems that Beck's been able to put in place. I think next year as well, having that put through our whole program from QAFL down to 7 teams as well. Just the system she has in place has meant that we've been able to have a ton of people come in and out of the team without really making a dent. They just can fit in seamlessly because the systems are there for them to jump into. So I think that's been a really great thing. Obviously, Abby and Beck work great together, yin and yang, pretty much. They're very different, but they work well.
A couple of players which you watch out for, and who's had an outstanding season so far, and you can't include yourselves or each other.
Oh, but Kelsey's highest goal scorer.
Yeah.
I think the obvious one is Sally Young. I think she's had a great year playing down in development, and it's had a great effect on everyone else. Everyone knows Sally, so it's probably a pretty easy one, but she's definitely been having a great year just personally as well, I think, with her footy. The other one I was going to say was Ellie, but I'll leave her out.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think our whole team kind of rises to the occasion, you know, when it's there. So I think everyone's to be watched out for.
I think it's interesting, like we do have Kels, who's the highest goal scorer, and that is obviously such a great asset for the team. But there's also games where Kelsey and I don't score goals and we win by 6 or 7 goals, and we have 6 or 7 different goal scorers, because we really do just have such a great cohesive team where when one person's out, other people step up. And Sally's definitely a big part of that, and we feel like we have an on-field coach, which is so helpful. But in terms of one person to watch out for, Beck hammers it into us that it's not about any one person. She really doesn't like naming best on field for that reason. She really believes that it's a team effort, and I think we kind of all buy into that as well. So that's what's got us to where we are, I think.
Now, how did all four of you get involved in footy, and why did you choose it?
I played footy when I was like 14. I'm 30 now, so I'm super old and over the hill. But I played when I was about 14. And then back in the day, there was no option for me to continue playing because I couldn't play with the boys anymore, and there was no girls division. And since the girls kind of came back into it, I've been thinking about it, but just haven't given it a go. And then I actually knew Emma McKenzie, who's our QAFL captain, from growing up, and just randomly thought I'd try training one day and absolutely loved it. So this is my first season back, and yeah, that's how I got into it.
Well, I started when I was 15 because AFLQ came to my school, and my dad played it his whole life, but I never played because there was never a girls team. So I knew the sport, but I never really played. And then after that, I kind of went to my local team. And then when I got through that, I was like, okay, I want to go to a like good club. So I moved to Coorparoo, and I think it's about 4 years later playing. So
I started playing when I was 13. I just was in year 8 at high school, and my sports teacher said to me, we have an AFL team, like you have a pretty good kick on you. I think you should come and try. So I thought, oh, why not? Because I used to play rugby league and soccer. And then she was also linked in with like the Medis under 15s girls. And then she said, oh, why don't you come along to the trials? And I tried out for that, got into the team, and just kind of went from there. And then I actually played in the team with Jessie and THYR, who are now AFLW players. And yeah, they were like, yeah, you're really good. Like, we have a few spots open in like the under 17s at Coorparoo, like if you wanted to come and try it out. And yeah, I knew from the first training session at Coorparoo that like that's the place that I wanted to be, because all the girls are just so welcoming and just such a good group of girls.
I have a pretty weird path to sport. I grew up as a competitive dancer, and I really didn't play sport until I was like 12. I started playing basketball. I got really into basketball. My whole high school life, I always played, loved it. And then in grade 12, Coorparoo under 17s, I had a friend playing for them, and they needed a couple players one weekend. I'd never watched the game before, never been to a training session, just jumped straight into a game. Tani White actually taught me how to kick the ball right before the game, so that was pretty helpful. But yeah, I just kept playing. Sally was my coach back then as well, so she's always been a big influence, I know, for everybody. But yeah, so that was, I'm 23 now, so I've kind of kept playing. I had last year off, but yeah, back again this year, so it's been a while.
The players that were part of last year's grand final premiership success, the question I always ask is 2 questions. The first one is, how long did you wear your medals around your necks for? And also, did you sleep with it?
Well, I didn't play the game actually because I was injured, but as soon as I got the medal put around my neck, I knew that I was never taking it off. Pretty sure I wore it that whole night, and I wore it to Mad Monday, and then for like a whole week after that, I even begged my mum if I could wear it to school, but she said no, like you can't wear it to school. It would hang right next to my bed, and as soon as I would wake up in the morning, like, oh yeah, like I just got it on the weekend, we just won the premiership. Like, it was such a big high for me, like for such a long time.
What does the sport of football mean to all 4 of you, and especially being there at Coorparoo?
Well, personally, my grandparents were really big on AFL. They were biggest Brisbane Lions supporters. So when I started playing, it was like such a big deal. Unfortunately, my grandma had passed away before I started playing, so she never got to see me play. But her brother, my great uncle, played at Coorparoo. So it probably means a lot to me for that aspect, to follow my family's footsteps and, be able to represent my club.
For me, I think it's just, I've been out of sport for a while, so it's been really cool to come back into a team sport and see how much it means to those girls who have been there for a long time. And I really love what it means to women's sport in general. Watching the AFLW come through and those girls is really inspiring. And one of the exercises Beck and Abby had us do a couple of weeks ago was tell each other what winning the grand final would mean. And I think for me, that was really inspiring to hear a lot of the girl stories, and really just makes you want to do it for the girls even more.
I mean, I've never really played for another club in terms of AFL, so Coorparoo is home for me. AFL really is a place where I can just turn up after a long day, you know, exercise, and also kind of work towards a goal with a group of people outside of work. So it's really just an escape, really, for me. I enjoy playing, but it's more about the people that are there.
Yeah, mine's kind of the same as Georgia. Like, I have a pretty tough job. I work in childcare every single day, so I have a pretty long, stressful day sometimes, working with about 20 children, and just going to training at the end of the day with the amazing group of girls that we have just really like brings my spirit up, and they're just like wonderful girls, and to work towards the goal of the back-to-back premiership just makes the whole season even better.
All four you mentioned right at the start, what position all four you play on the field? If you had a preferred position where you like to convince the coaches to put you, where would that be? And here's your chance now.
Definitely, I don't think I could play any other position. I definitely couldn't be a midfielder. They run way too much, and I don't know how they do it. And I definitely couldn't play in the back line because I feel like it's a lot of pressure. So I'm happy sitting in the forward line. I don't want to move.
Yeah, that's the same with me. I love the forward line, love to kick the famous goals from the boundary to win the game. Like, I just love those times. Just trying to feel like the back line, like, I'm not one to defend. Like, I'm probably the laziest forward in the whole group. But I don't know. Like, I do have a bit of a run on ball sometimes, but definitely not the fittest player to play in the midfield.
I like to think I could rock, but I think it's just a dream.
I love rucking. It's really good, but if I wasn't to, like, I would prefer to ruck, but if I wasn't going to ruck, I like playing off centre half forward, so that's another position, I guess.
Now, what would be your advice to people out there that should get involved in footy, especially down there at Coorparoo at the fantastic venue called Leyshon Park?
I think just give it a go at least once. You know, if you don't like it, you don't have to do it again. But I think giving it a try is the first place to start.
I think Coorparoo is just like a great place. Like, come along and try. Like, we just have such a great social aspect between the boys and the girls. Like, where they're playing with each other, winning, having a good time, and then after we're getting around each other's team, like lifting them up. And I think like we just have a great atmosphere. So it's just great for another social aspect as well as like playing.
I agree with Kelsey. That was good.
Yeah, I
Good
think you can.
culture.
The good thing about women's footy, I think, and kind of where we're at, is that it is quite open at even this kind of higher level of welcoming anyone who wants to come along and try. And that's kind of what I did. I just came along to a training session with really no intention of actually joining, and after that session never left. So I think come and give it a go. If it's not for you, that's fine, but I think you'll find that it's, like Kel said, just such a great environment to be in and a lot of fun.
I think what we've seen this year as well is a lot of girls from Div 1 clubs giving it a try at the QAFLW or the development levels. You know, they're obviously standing out in the league they're in already, and, you know, they've been hesitant to come over, but the girls that have been killing it. So, you know, if you're ready to make that move, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, from someone who did come from another club, I played most of my juniors at my local club at Victoria Point, and they didn't have a women's team in that time. So I was like, I want to move to a club that has a women's team. And, you know, Coorparoo just had the best, like, they were the best club. So I was like, that's where I want to go.
Now let's finish on a couple of lighthearted questions about your teammates. Firstly, who had the most embarrassing moment on the field this season, and what was it?
I'd probably have to take that
but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, probably me.
We've had too many.
Kelsey, how
There
many
you go.
posts have you hit?
Like, even though I'm leading goal kicker, like if I had $1 for every single time I hit a goal post or completely just sprayed it out on the floor, like I would not have a daytime job.
Yeah, I think it's like as many posts as goals for the year, probably.
Probably even more. Like, I'm just a post magnet.
Yeah.
Even hit one once with your body.
Yeah.
Should get extra points for hitting the post. It's hard. I
Yeah.
reckon.
Now, who's the comedian, the best singer, and the best dancer on the team?
I think Sweeney probably takes all those,
Yeah.
doesn't she?
Sweeney's definitely a comedian. She's so funny.
I mean,
One-liners.
one time in the change room, she did like a I guess her version of like a sexy rendition of our team song, and it was definitely entertaining.
So I've got to ask as a follow-up. What do you mean by that?
Well, the boys played before us, and they were next door singing our team song, but it sounds very different when the boys sing it. So she was just kind of doing a fake version of how silly we can sound sometimes with our high-pitched girly voices, trying to sing a super intense song. It was good.
Is anyone in your team into their TikToks?
Oh, Charlie.
Charlie. Yeah.
Charlie is like, you'll probably
Charlie
see
and
like
Lily.
4 or 5 on it a day. Like, she comes up on my feed every single day of just a new TikTok of her and Taya doing some weird new trend, or just some like photos in the mirror of them like acting all tough or something like that.
Acting tough, but they're the two biggest teddy bears. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do either of you have a pre-game superstition or ritual?
I always have to do everything left before I do right. So I got to put my left sock on for my left boot, strap my left arm before I strap my right, put my left sink on before my right. Otherwise, I feel like I'm just going to play terrible.
When I go up to rock, I always have to tap my feet on the ground. Otherwise, I feel like I'm not going to like do, like, I don't know. I just always do it. My dad's like, you need to act more tough. Make yourself look more tough. And that doesn't make you look tough. I was like, I'm sorry. Come on, I have to.
I don't have anything.
I'm not superstitious at all. I think that so much is out of our control, like that I just kind of go with the flow. And I also find like I try not to think about like those things before the game. I try and just relax and not be so like intense in my head. If I think about it too much, that's where it becomes nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I'm definitely the same.
I do think the way I wear my hair has something to do with it. Like if I wear my hair in like a certain braid and we lose the game, I'm like, I'm not wearing my hair that braid this like next week. I do think that, so I'm gonna have to think about how I'm gonna wear it this weekend.
Figure it out before Sunday.
Yeah, I don't like wearing my hair up because I feel like it's going to affect putting my head over the ball. Like I won't go through it as smooth or something.
Yeah.
Like if I visualize picking up a ball, I just can't do it with a bun or a ponytail. I don't know why.
In a way.
Yeah.
Now, does the team have a pre-game song to hype the team up before a game?
We've been pretty bad with music this year.
Yeah.
I think we've just been trying to calm. We're a bit too excitable. So I think music would probably not be a good influence. We really need to like take a few deep breaths and calm down before we go warm up, I reckon.
Yeah, that's definitely Beck's focus, is like trying to ring us in, if anything. We're like, there's a bunch of crazies before the game in the locker room. So I don't think we need any extra hype up music.
Now, 2-part question to finish off, which is, the first one is, does the team have a fine system? And if so, what was the craziest fine that anyone's copped?
I think that would have to be just, everyone would agree with this, last year at Bad Monday. You probably saw the post. One of our girls thought it was a great idea to put 2 tables together and get a boogie board and slide across the front of it.
Yeah.
And
it's gone viral.
Basically have just like messed her whole neck up. Like she's fine. Like, and it's just in the back says Coorparoo Football Club. So
she's a nurse and decided to do this.
Yeah, she's a nurse, so she was probably the most likely one not to get hurt. but I'm pretty sure she got fined like $20 or something because like we've got banned from having Mad Monday at the club, and now we're still trying to find some way to have it on Monday.
Yes, I've always forgot about that, Kelsey. Thanks for bringing that up. I do remember someone mentioned that.
I feel like everyone in the AFL community has just seen that video.
Yeah.
And the last one is of that question, which is, does anyone on the team have a really weird nickname?
Oh, I think everyone has weird nicknames. Like
Yeah, everyone's
like-
got one, but I don't know the reasons behind all of them. There's too many. Kelsey,
Yeah.
Our
do you have-
coach Beck
go
comes
through
up
our-
with them all the
we could go
time.
through our group chat and just explain all the nicknames on there. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
None of
we
them are
did-
really stuck.
No.
Yeah.
But Beck
One
will
girl
call
had-
people different things. Like one day she'll just call you like Butterfingers, or not even that, something just more crazy, and it'll never stick, but she'll just come out with the weirdest things if she forgets your name.
Yeah, she has like dad jokes that she.
Yeah.
Yeah, she started calling Charlie Chili, and now that one kind of stuck with a few people.
That one's stuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. But
We did used to have a girl, she plays at Morningside now, called Dylan, and her nickname would be Dildo. So I'm pretty sure that's the wildest that we've ever had. But I don't think we've ever had anything as extreme as that.
Yeah.
she was given that before she came to Coorparoo, so we're not going to claim it. But it stuck for sure.
Yeah, a lot of nicknames have something to do with the last name. I think because there was like heaps of Emmas or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But all four of you, thank you so much for getting up your time to join us. It's awesome having all four of you on the show. Well, best of luck whenever this grand final is going to be. Hopefully it's this Sunday. If not, I'm sure it's the following weekend. But either way, let's hope, because especially for the Kings, that you can bring home the bacon again in 2021, and especially to make it back-to-back premierships in the QAFLW Development Division. And let's hope it all goes well, and we'll be supporting you right from here in Melbourne, even though we wish we were up there to support you in that grand final.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thanks
having
for
us
having
on.
us.
Yeah.
No worries, because if you want to get down, or hopefully people can get down to Yeronga, depending on when the game is, between Coorparoo and Bonyini. Of course, hopefully either this Sunday or whenever that grand final will be, hopefully the next this weekend or the following weekend. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th year celebration.